Can they do it at 118 games through the season? What does it take?
It takes not playing like you've been playing for 118 games.
They basically need to do the opposite of what they've done the last 4.5 months. Is that what you're saying? And not trading off your biggest assets?
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers the longest game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs or Carl Crawford,
well, we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
And every season, the Rays have gone to the playoffs. It'll take a miracle to have that happen again this year. However, in the meantime, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And guess what? Terms do apply.
All right, so usually we try to do our mailbag episode on a Wednesday, but with the Junior Caminero call-up news, we push that back a day. It's okay. We'll get into it right now. First question from Michael Johansson. He says, the Rays are currently 500. If they can make it to 7 to 8 wins over 500, we just might have a chance at the playoffs. Can they do it at 118 games through the season? What does it take?
It takes not playing like you've been playing for 118 games.
They basically need to do the opposite of what they've done the last 4.5 months. Is that what you're saying? And not trading off your biggest assets to some extent?
It means, in this new age of baseball, we've learned small sample sizes. Don't trust them. They can happen. Anything can happen. Variance can occur. Trust the large sample size.
Right.
Are we not supposed to trust the 118 games that have happened? This team has been a 500 team 27 bleeping times in 2024. Mm-hmm. That leads Major League Baseball. They have shown time and time again that they're a 500 team. Now, like we said on Wednesday, Junior Caminero is up. He's a tremendous power hitting prospect. If he hits the ground running, he could move the needle a little bit, but not Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout can carry a whole baseball team. Are we really expecting Junior Caminero to carry a whole offense? And before you say, well, he's got Yandy, he's got Brendan Lau. Do you remember when I said Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout? They're not Brendan Lau. They're not Yandy Diaz. Michael, thank you for writing to us. I don't think this is a playoff team.
Question. Totally hypothetical, unfair, not realistic, obviously, because they play in the AL East. But if they played in the Central or West, do you think that they would be able to squeeze into the wild card?
I think on a normal year, I would say yes.
Okay.
That they could. The issue is that the Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals playing at 66 and 52 and 65 and 54, essentially 9 and 14 games over 500. They're not even the best in their division. That's the Cleveland Guardians, who are playing at 70 and 49. You know how we talk about the Baltimore Orioles bullying the Rays in 2024 to a 1-8 record? They have the same record as the Cleveland Guardians.
Right.
So in this year, the AL Central has 3 really good teams. And so, no, the Rays would not fare. Maybe they would fare better slightly.
They might be 2 games above 500, but it's not like they would be in Twins territory by any means.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing, because usually you'd say, oh, the AL East, it's impossible. But like you said, the Central is extremely difficult outside of the White Sox. If you play them however many times, 12 times, you could really beat on them at 29-91 right now, by far the worst team in all of baseball. But the West, I mean, everybody is basically gobbled up and beating up on each other. Even the Athletics they're not good, but it's not like they're atrocious. Like, they will play somewhat competitive baseball. So it's almost like, what would you rather be in? The Central, where you have several really good teams at the top, led by maybe the best team in baseball in the Guardians, but you have the worst team in all of baseball at the bottom. Whereas in the West, you got a lot of teams hovering around that, 55 to 63 win mark. It's a difficult situation. And the other thing that we have to point out is the Rays' strength of schedule, toughest in all of baseball. 535 is what opponents have on their remaining schedule. They've got against the Orioles, the Dodgers, the Guardians, the Phillies, the Twins, the Diamondbacks, their easiest opponents. And it's not like they're walkovers either. The Athletics, the Blue Jays, and the Tigers. Now, the team with the second most difficult schedule is Kansas City. So, if you're the Rays, maybe you hope that team totally implodes, and maybe that could happen, because when's the last time Kansas City has been there, done that? They've got
a long time,
a young manager, so maybe they have egg on their face and totally fall out of it. But I feel like they're in a pretty good spot right now. I mean, if it's, the Rays would really, really have to go on a run. And even if the Royals did terrible, you still have the Red Sox and the Mariners playing good enough baseball to leapfrog the Rays and leapfrog the Royals to get in.
Also, I know it's a sore spot to remember this, but if we were in the AL Central, the Rays went 2-4 against what could be the worst team in the history of Major League Baseball, the 2024 Chicago White Sox. Let's not forget, they played 6 games, and the White Sox beat the Rays 4 times, including a sweep in Chicago. So, no, I in this hypothetical, in this year, I think the Rays would barely be doing a little bit better than what they have right now. It's not been a good year. Actually, let me rephrase that, because I can't say that to Rockies fans or Athletics fans or White Sox fans that it hasn't been a good year. It's been a mediocre year. It has been a mediocre year. And as a spoiled Rays fan for since 2008, mediocre is not good enough for us. I mean, we were talking about in the offseason how this fan base is asking for more than a wild card banner, which, okay, I have
and
something.
Scoring more than 1 or 0 runs in a wild card game.
Exactly. I have something funny, and I don't want this to be taken as anything but a joke. Okay, people? So don't clip this. But it's kind of a joke. Okay. You know what the good thing about this year is?
We're not hanging wildcard banners.
We're not hanging a damn wildcard banner.
You get a better draft pick, I guess. That's really the outlook, is you get a better draft pick.
You get a better draft pick, maybe. More than
what at a higher. You'll be able to draft higher, and hopefully that player turns out to get a better option, maybe.
Yeah, but again, just a joke. But we don't get to hang out.
Maybe that's what we need to do when we have the new stadium. Maybe we refrain from wild card banners. Like, that's a Tropicana Field thing in Publix Park or Jable Park or whatever the hell it's called.
Ooh.
Let's not do that.
I have a recommendation for the Rays organization to gain money for a good cause and to take that off. Auction the wild card banners.
Okay.
get that money, give it to charity, to your own baseball foundation. Do that. Help kids, help whoever needs it. And then let's not have wild card banners. That is a thing of the past. And from now on, if the Rays get through to the playoffs with a wild card, let's just have like a whole big plaque, and then you just put the years on them.
Yes, there's a good middle ground too. If we got to do some sort of banner for the wild card, maybe just have one banner for wild card specifically, and every year you notch out a little rectangle, as opposed to making it a big event, especially after you fall poorly in that wild card game or wild card series. So.
And maybe you were like me, and you went to the game or the games last year against the Rangers, and you use Game Time, because when you use Game Time, you have so many features. You've got last minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, you name it, they've got it. They've got zone deals, which is when you just choose a section and then let Game Time choose the seats. That's the way that you can save money. And the seat views. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know what to expect. And in life, not many times we can actually preview what is going to happen. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Game Time does that. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, hold for pause, guaranteed.
We also want to tell you to make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on the YouTubes or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Before moving on to the next question, playoff percentage check here. As of this recording, Rays have a 4.5% chance to make the dance. And to win the World Series, they have a 0.2% chance to do that. So, and I mean, going back to the point about wild card banners, it doesn't have as much prestige now that, more than half the teams get in. It was more of a big deal when there's one wild card from each league. Now,
and when you were like a 90-win team and you couldn't even get to the playoffs, cough, cough, 2018 team.
84-win teams are making it in the playoffs now on a regular basis.
Basically the NBA or the NFL. What are we doing?
That's where we're at right now. Just like college football, you go 5-7, 6-6, you get a bowl game.
Yeah,
75% of teams get to play in a bowl game. 70%, whatever it is. All right. Next question comes.
You're special, and you're special too. Okay.
Hey, the degradation and decay of society is playoff expansion. That's what we can all agree on. The presidential candidates better bring that up during their next debate. Cindy, our friend, says, I think we all need a hot minute to be sad together. I get it. It's a business. And it is not over with yet. We all invested time to get to know and love these players who will now be on other teams, talking about the trade deadline, of course. But Morel has a great comeback story, much like Caballero. Biggie is from Harvard. Lesko is a first-round pick who could work out great. Future could be very bright. Raise up.
Thank you, Cindy, for that message and the many that you have already sent. Hope you keep sending them in.
Mm-hmm.
What a balanced mailbag that was. That's exactly what we aim to have, balance on this podcast. And from the trade deadline, we've talked about this ad nauseum. There's a logistics side to this and an emotional side. The logistics side makes sense. You're underperforming in 2024. You've got some assets that might never have this high value ever again.
Right.
Can you capitalize?
You're going to keep them forever anyway. So.
Yeah. Can you capitalize them and then you become a little bit stronger in 2025, 2026, or use those high prospects and then trade them off for things that you could use for not things, but players that you could use 2025 and 2026, you could do that. The emotional side, Cindy's 100% right. I mean, you invest so much time into rooting for these human beings, and you go to the games and they smile at you, they throw baseballs at you, you see them being good to other human beings, you see them being good to kids, you grow an attachment. They're in your living room, they're in your bedroom, sometimes they're in your bathroom, okay, watching or listening to the game. So it's, how are you not going to get emotionally attached? How are you going to tell people, you know, looking at your spreadsheet, being like, well, actually, it just makes sense. You're being, it's like, no, let fans be upset. Let fans be upset. Now, I don't think that should rule the whole, you know, onus of the operation and say like, oh, this front office sucks. Because obviously they don't suck. Obviously, they're actually one of the best in baseball, and they're not third. They're first or second. But yeah, I think there's a balance here where we should talk about this honestly as a fan base, where logistically it makes sense. Emotionally, it sucks.
Yeah, it's another PSA that you better think hard about investing in a jersey or player name related memorabilia if they play for the Rays, because most likely within a course of a couple of years they will be off-footed to some other organization. We thought we would be okay with Wander Franco. Hey, we're good for the next decade plus, and then crazy circumstances came about, but that's another story for another day. To Cindy's point, out of all the additions that were made, from major league ready guys like Morel and Biggie to the cavalcade of prospects that came into the fold from all of this, if there was one player you were most hyped and excited about from these acquisitions, who would it be in your eyes?
I'm going to go with high ceiling and go Lesko.
Okay.
I've said it before. I like following prospects, but I am not going to be, oh, this guy is certainly going to, because we've seen so much baseball. You and I.
Yeah, we just go back to the Blake Snell Padres trade, which gives me a little bit of setback with, well, the Padres got rid of him or them for a reason. And, you know, we thought Luis Patino was going to be that guy. Electrico. And what did he turn out to be?
Yeah. So I would go with the guy who could be the biggest arm in the rotation.
Yeah.
If he were to make it, if he were to throw strikes ever again, because the talent is enormous with Lesko. So I'll go with him.
Okay.
But again, prospects in low ball, the chances of them making it to the major leagues is very, very small.
Yes, that is true. And if there's something that should ease you all a little bit, it was, if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and check it out, our interview with Aram Layton, where he went through the explanation as to, you know, there was a lot of talk about why didn't the Rays get acquisitions prospects who were in AA, AAA, ready to go to the show. And a lot of that has to do with the 40-man roster crunch that the Rays consistently have to deal with. So this gives them a little bit of breathing room with so many guys in low A or high A to make decisions on other guys. As opposed to Lesko, I will pick another pitcher, and that was a guy acquired in the Randy Seattle deal, Brody Hopkins, just because I think he could be one of the more fun guys to watch in some time. Just the fact of how many side armors do you see anymore? And he's incredibly athletic from everything that we've read from him. And he's a converted outfielder too. So there's a cool storyline with him, but just seeing him, you know, throw crazy breaking balls in heaters from that arm slot, I think could be something fun to watch and something that the Rays and the fan base could grow to market and love and enjoy. So
aesthetically pleasing to see a side armor, really. I mean, those are one of the coolest things about baseball is the fact that these guys you can have an Aaron Judge or you can have a Jose Altuve body and you can still play the same game. You can throw an underhand submarine style over your head or on the side and you can still throw strikes.
You could be Jose Altuve or Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani.
It doesn't matter. You still play the same game and you can still play if you've got green Skittles. Sometimes. For these players, Kevin, but I don't know where I go. Where would I go if I have green?
Well, one place you could go to is Prize Picks. And it's apropos because baseball season is moving right along, and here's the time to make some cash on Junior Caminero, maybe some other guys, raise performances over on that very application, Prize Picks. Whether it's stolen bases, home runs, or hits, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. With how well, hopefully, some of the Rays are playing baseball, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Look, Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app, which people definitely will want to go to with football season on the 4. So get in on the action with Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So good. I'll repeat it again for y'all out there. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for an up to $100 match on your first deposit. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy.
I know it might be contradictory because me and Kevin are both wearing hoodies, but it's getting hot out there, folks. It's hot, and you have to get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Quick trivia, Kevin. What am I talking about?
That would be one and only thing, and that would be Liquid IV.
That's correct. Tear, pour, live more, okay? One stick, 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. That means that you don't have to have more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. In fact, get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. Wait, what was that code? It's super long. No, it's not. It's MLB, and that'll be 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com.
Want to remind you also that you can catch every pitch of the Rays hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search Rays. Also, be sure to bookmark si.com/MLB/Rays for written content about your favorite team, the Tampa Bay Rays. This final question, a little bit more of a fun angle here, comes from Stacy. What is your favorite / go-to concession item or items at Tropicana Field?
Okay, this we don't have this much time to go through all of them because the Tropicana Field food is.
Give me a podium. I need a podium. Then.
It's been really good, man. It's been really good lately. Like they've upped their game. They've upped their game.
They might not up their game on the field, but in your belly, they're making some differences.
They're making some differences. Okay, so the Pacific Counter, I agree with Colleen. The Pacific Counter, boss move. I know you're a chicken tenders guy. I'm a Buffalo chicken tenders guy. The Buffalo just takes it up top for me. But #1, I do like the wraps they have. The Italian wraps are pretty good. I haven't yet tried the pretzel ones, the little pretzels on by the Budweiser porch. I think that's going to be my next get. The little pretzels. Have you had them?
I have not. I will go ahead and throw out my podium of sorts. I am very plain Jane and rigid and consistent with my choices. It's all very expensive, so I just take the heat. But the chicken tenders and fries, it's a safe choice and it's not messy. I don't need a big mess. I'll go with a pizza, personal pizza as well, a little bit more messy. peanuts, also messy. And then usually by the time the 2.5 hour game concludes, I've maybe had 1, 2, 3 or more adult beverages, which, speaking of that, there's some sort of, I don't know if it's a rum or vodka slushy. There's something that they're selling for like $20 that's really good and fruity and delicious.
The moonshine thing?
Yes, that's what it is.
I've had that. It's bomb.
Yes.
It's awesome. If you're over 21, indulge safely.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's by the, I think, is it the first base side?
That sounds about right. I'm sure somebody will check that on
the right field-ish by the team store area. I think maybe not. Correct me if I'm wrong on the comment section on YouTube. But yeah, that's pretty good. I've had both the raspberry one that they have, and then there's another flavor, watermelon, I think.
Yeah,
pretty good stuff. I like it.
It is good, and yeah, that is the thing about the Trop. I know that I'm pretty basic with my choices there, but
that's okay.
There is a lot of eclectic and local and unique flavor and fare that you can indulge in if you go to a Trop game.
How did I forget the grilled, the ribs in the grilled cheese sandwiches?
Yeah, I've heard that's a winner.
The short rib grilled cheese. Oh my god! If you haven't had that and you're hungry next time, go get yourself a grilled cheese short rib sandwich. However, you're supposed to say all those words together in the correct order. That is delicious. You are not going to be left wanting. It's amazing.
Hit it up in the comments. There we go. All right. Thank you all for the questions. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. We do love the voice memos. LockedOnRays@gmail.com if you want to send us one of those. In the meantime, that will wrap up this edition of Locked On Rays. Thanks as always for making us your first listen every day. For your second listen, be sure to check out the Locked On MLB podcast with Soli, our pal. And then for Friday, we've got a fun Friday edition with the man, the myth, the legend, Evan Klosky. Everybody loves the Klosky Meister, so I'm sure you all will enjoy that. That is all we'll say about all that. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.